up, guys? Welcome to this page of the notes. What we're going to do is we have ourselves another problem, a system of three equations we need to go ahead and find the solution for, if one exists. Now, again, if there's a shortcut, we want to use it, right? If substitution is possible, it'd be the fastest way. But the only way substitution is really a viable option is if you have an equation that's two or fewer variables. And I don't. So substitution is out. Elimination's going to be the fastest way to solve this particular system of three equations. What I need to do then is figure out, since I'm doing elimination, which variable am I going to eliminate first. Now remember, the way this works is you want variables that either have the same coefficients and opposite signs. And so we go ahead and take a look at it. And I have my x's with a 2, a 1, a 3. So all the coefficients are different, and they're all positive. So without a doubt, x is a horrible option unless everybody else is just as bad. But for now, just looking at the x's, I'm going to say x is out. We definitely don't want to do that. None of the coefficients are the same. The signs are all the same, and it'd just be a nightmare to work on that. Let's take a look at the y. Well, when it comes to the y, at least with the y, I've got different signs, right? Two of them are positive, one of them is negative, but that's okay, right? As long as I choose two equations that have opposite signs, they will eliminate. And what I've got is only, none of the coefficients are identical, but I've got two equations with the same coefficient, and then of course I've got a 2 in there, so two different coefficients. Not a bad option, but maybe z is better. I take a look at the z, and I have the exact same situation. Different signs, fantastic, but I still have two coefficients. So at this point, x is out. X would not be a good choice. Y or z are a horse apiece. They're both going to require the same amount of work. Doesn't matter which one you decide to eliminate first. Actually, because I'm kind of thinking ahead about this problem, I am going to eliminate z, and I can tell you why. If I just real quick flip back to the problem we did just a second ago, when I first added my equations together and eliminated y, you see how I wound up with this little gap right here because the y's went away and I had my x's and my z's and I'm lining up all my math, and those gaps drive me crazy. Hate them, which is why I rewrote my equations. So here's what I'm going to do. In this problem, because I really don't like those little gaps, I'm going to eliminate z. By eliminating z, since it's on the end of the equation, I'm going to wind up with equations that are xy, xy. They're going to be right next to each other. The equation. I know, again, that makes me super OCD. I get it, but I can't help it. It's the way I am. Those little gaps drive me nuts. So here we go. Numbering the equations 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to get rid of z. I'm going to get rid of z. If you decided to get rid of the y, great. We should still all get the exact same answer. Your equations are just going to look a little different than mine. Here we go. To get us started, I am going to add. I need to get rid of the z's, so let's go ahead and make it easy on ourselves. We're going to add 1 and 2. Add 1 and 2. That's going to give me 2x minus y plus z is equal to 1. And that's equation 1. Equation number 2 is x plus 2y minus z is equal to 0. We add those guys up. The z's drop out. I get 3x plus y is equal to 1. And number the equation. And again, the only reason I decided to get rid of the z's is because now when I do my addition, I don't wind up with that weird little space where the y's dropped out, and makes me feel better. All right, let's do this. Let's add equation number. Well, fine. We'll do 2 and 3. The reason I'm going to add equation number 2 and number 3 instead of adding equation number 1 and number 3 is because of this. Equation number 2 is equal to 0. When I do that addition, it's going to be much easier to add 0 to whatever as opposed to having to add 1 to whatever. Again, I know 1 is easy to do addition with, but guys, any little work smarter, not harder, any little thing you can do to keep yourself from making mistakes or make your life a little simpler, do it. So we're going to add 2 and 3 because that guy's equal to 0, and 0 is easy to do math with. But in order to make the z's drop out, scratch that, scratch that, scratch that. That is a horrible idea. Here's why. Equations 2 and 3 have the same sign. It's no bueno, which means I need to add. I don't have a choice. I got to add 1 and 3. So scratch everything I just said. I want those signs to be opposite. That way the z's drop out when I add them. And so 2 and 3 is no good because the signs are the same. So we'll do 1 and 3. Whatever, I don't get to use my 0. No big deal. This is definitely the better way to do it. All right, now in order to get the z's to drop out, well here, actually let me do this. So equation number 1 is 2x minus y plus z is equal to 1. And then I have 3x plus y minus 2z is equal to a negative 3. And here we go. In order to get those guys to drop out, I need to multiply this top equation by 2. All right, that's going to make those z's go away. All right, let's do that. That's going to give me 4x minus 2y plus 2z is equal to 2. 3x plus y minus 2z is equal to a negative 3. Here we go, add them up. Z's drop out. I've got a 7x, I got a minus y, and I got a minus 1. And I just wrote a new equation, so we go ahead and number it. So here we go, equation number 4, equation number 5. Equation number 4 has an x and a y in it. Equation number 5 has an x and a y in it. I now have a system of 2 equations. Go ahead and take a look at those guys. Figure out which one. Oh, do you see this? Look at this. Plus y minus y. Add equations 4 and 5 together. The y drops out. That is beautiful. Man, I love it when a plan comes together. But I need to make myself a little note so I don't forget what I'm doing. So I'm going to add 4 and 5. And when I do that, 3x plus y equals 1. 7x minus y is equal to a negative 1. Y's drop out. 7, 8, 9, 10. X is equal to 0. Divide by 10, doesn't matter. X is going to be equal to 0. So there we go. I found my first variable. X is equal to 0. Now, how do I find the rest of them? Well, pick your favorite. You can either do this equation or this equation. Plug in x and solve for y. I like positive numbers, so I'm going with that one. (3x plus y is equal to 1, which means 3 times 0 plus y is equal to 1, which means y is equal to 1. Now all I need to do is find z, and again, take your pick. You got 3 equations up here. Pick the one that's probably going to be the easiest to work with. I'm going to go with that one because it's got the 0 there. So we'll go ahead and take that guy. And so I'm going to have x. Oh, sorry. It is x plus 2y minus z is equal to 0. And let's go ahead and plug in what we know. X is 0, y is 1. So I have 0. That means I'm going to have 2 minus z is equal to 0 minus z is equal to a negative 2, which means z is equal to 2. And my order triple, 0, 1, 2. Oh, look at that. 0, 1, 2. X, Y, Z. I found my order triple, and we just solved another system of 3 equations. Again, hopefully now that we've done it a couple of times, you're beginning to kind of see the pattern here. You need to pick a variable to eliminate. It's going to get you down to a system of 2 equations. You will solve that system of 2 equations, and once you've got one of the variables, you just work your way back up through the problem to find the other 2. Guys, that takes care of the problem on this page. We'll go ahead and try a couple more. So head on over to the next page of the notes, and I'll meet you there.